Hi, guys, and welcome back to episode 45, believe it or not, of We Need to Talk About This. I'm your host, Chuck Oliveris. It's been about 2 weeks and a couple of days since the last podcast. We're averaging them around every 2 weeks now, as I kind of told you guys we were going to do. We had on Holly Gallo on the last podcast, my friend, third time back on the podcast, talking about the state of America and the USA and all that stuff. But this podcast is a little bit more personal. So tonight, I am paying homage to the town we have lived in for 14 years now, up near Sequoia National Park, Three Rivers, California, nestled right outside of the park. And in between the three rivers here, the North Fork, South Fork, and Main Fork. And of course, the Riverview Grill and Bar, where I've been talking about working as a bartender for quite a while now, and all that kind of good stuff. But I want to pay homage to our town, the people we've met here, and our friends, because we are about 6.5 weeks away from leaving and moving on and moving out of state, out to North Carolina, to the East Coast, which is weird. And I've lived out there before when I was younger, in my late 20s. I lived in Georgia. I lived in South Carolina for a little while. Never North Carolina. But as I've talked about before, we had an opportunity from my in-laws to take over a house and go out there and live on 43 acres out in the woods near some beautiful towns and cities. And we'll talk about that more toward the end of the podcast. But this is about Three Rivers. It's about our friends. And it's kind of a little history of our 14 years here. It's kind of crazy because when we moved here, our little town was pretty vibrant with families and kids and stuff. And there were a lot of rental homes. So there was an abundance of those, actually, at the time that we moved here. And now our town has kind of been infiltrated with vacation rentals. So much so that our school's dying and there's no more rental homes to keep the people here with the kids and stuff. So we'll talk about that a little bit. A great little town. When we got here 14 years ago, we thought, well, geez, I wonder if we can rent a home up there. Well, we got a hold of a realtor, and there's an old guy who's not doing it anymore. That was a good friend of ours, and we befriended him, and his name was Bill Haxton. And Bill Haxton was kind of known for the realty business up here and finding rentals for people and stuff. And he became our guy. He found 2 of our homes for us up here that we rented over the years. And then he kind of retired from that business with his wife, Ann. But so we'll just kind of talk about that. When we first got into town, we didn't know what we could afford. That was 14 years ago. There was a property up on Dineley Drive. This is a popular area in our little town. There's a Dineley Bridge that goes over the river, and you go up, and it's a great, great piece of our town that's very different. And all the different pieces of Three Rivers are different. And there's a lot of hidden gems and things like that. And after 14 years, we've kind of explored all of them. But I want to start out by showing you our first home. This was our first home we rented here. And that was on Dineley Drive. Now, this was a modular home. And when we first saw it and Bill Haxton took us up there, we were like, wow, look at the deck on this thing. So it was way up on a hill. There's a very deep ravine below this house. And it was just a little slice of heaven with a huge deck. And we pretty much lived on that deck. And it was one of my favorite homes because it was the first one we had when we moved here. And we moved in the summertime. And the summer nights up there were just unbelievably beautiful. We had 3 dogs at the time. 2 of our dogs have passed since, and we just have 1 now. Actually, we had 2 dogs when we moved there. We got Shiloh the pit bull later, but that was our first home up there on the hill and stuff. And like I said, it had this beautiful deck, and you can see here the view from the deck. And that's not even looking out at the main ravine over to the right, which you cannot see in this picture. But I will tell you that we ate breakfast out there. We ate dinner out there. We had parties there. It was just a super, super cool house. It was outdated inside. I remember when we first went inside, it had like a mauve colored kitchen, like from the late 80s or 90s. But the thing that sold us on that house was that deck because it was huge. It had a beautiful tree that hugged it on the other side, which you can't see, and a really steep driveway. But it was super cool. We moved in there and we were there for a couple of years until, guess what? They turned that into, no, actually, they sold that one. I'm correcting myself. They sold that house, and that was before the vacation rentals started getting all crazy. But it was a great house. We decorated for Christmas and stuff, and it was very cozy. And you can kind of see in the picture here what it looked like at night. I loved that house. I loved the floor plan, the way it was set up, and you can see the driveway there, very steep going up to the road. We had a lot of tarantulas up there, which we were not familiar with coming from where we came from. And we kind of got used to them. At first, we were freaking out and thought we had to kill them all, but they're very docile. And October is the month they come out, and then droves of them would come down the driveway and go through their little holes and stuff. But those little spotlights I put up to line the driveway with so people could see when you came down the hill toward the house or when you went up. And my father would inevitably hit 2 or 3 of those every time he left. And I'd find them all crunched at the top of the hill. Excuse me, it was funny because I used to tease him and tell him, Dad, you took out more of my lights. Great house, though. Here's the deck from another angle. There's that tree I was telling you about that hugged the deck. Beautiful, beautiful deck. And we just really, really enjoyed living there for the couple of years that we did. And those were our first years, like I said, here in Three Rivers. And what a great place and what a great find from Bill Haxton. And like I said, he was the guy if you were looking for a house. And then, of course, from there, a couple of years later, they sold that property. We weren't sure where we were going to go. And there was a dentist here in town, and her name was Therese Mosley. She's since passed away. Very sweet lady, and she gave us an opportunity to rent a real log cabin that was built by some people that are pretty famous for building log cabins here, Meeker. And it was a great cabin, and it was all real log cabin, and it just had something special about it. And I remember when I went to see it, she said, well, Chuck, I don't think you're going to like this cabin because the ceiling's low in it, and you're a pretty big guy. And I said, oh, on the contrary, I love a cozy, warm log cabin cottage. Always wanted to live in one. And after we did, we always said everyone should live in a log cabin at least once in their life. So here's a shot of the cabin from down below the property looking up at it. Pretty amazing picture. That's the back deck off the back of the cabin. It was really like 3 stories. Inside it was 2, but it had a shop underneath and a bunch of property below. We actually had a pool down there at one time and stuff. Here's another shot of the front of the cabin. This was wonderful. So this was on Hammond Drive off of Mineral King here in Three Rivers. If you're not familiar with the Three Rivers town, look it up. You'll see where it is, right outside of Sequoia National Park. Beautiful area. People come from all over to see the park. And now they come and stay in vacation rentals and all that good stuff. What I loved about the porch on this house, being our second one, was you could be out there and sit out on that porch on the front of the house if it was snowing or it was raining and enjoy the weather without being hit by it and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just to give you an idea of the hue and the way it was lit inside, here's a shot of Dalton right here with our dogs. That's little Leo, who passed away. That was our corgi. He was our first dog. And that's not a guy standing in the background. That's a full-size zombie. Those have been traveling with us for quite a while from house to house, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But you can see how beautiful the cabin was. It had beautiful wood floors. It was just beautiful inside. And these little orange lights in the living room would light it up a certain way at night that just made it so cozy. It was like the best place to be, especially at Christmas time. Another shot of the front of the cabin here. That's from the driveway, of course. What an amazing place, an amazing spot. And one of my favorite shots in that cabin is right here when you're going around from the living room into the dining room. This is the hallway that takes you there. And it was just beautiful. I mean, you just felt comfortable the whole time in this place. And it was really high end. Like the kitchen in that place had been redone by a couple that had lived there before us. And it was all like marble countertops, soft closing drawers and stuff. So it was really kind of top of the line. A lot of our friends were there, had been there. There were 3 bedrooms upstairs. Dalton made one of them his game room. It was just the coolest place in the world to come home to. And when they sold that place to make it a vacation rental, we were devastated. My plans were to buy that cabin and live there forever because I just felt so comfortable in there, and so did Dalton, and our dogs loved it. So it was a shame when we had to lose that one, but we were lucky enough to live in it while we did. So we ended up moving to another neighborhood in Three Rivers here called Cherokee Oaks. And it was funny because after leaving Mineral King, which is up on the hill and more away from everything, including Dinley Drive where we were at in the first house, we moved to a little neighborhood called Cherokee Oaks, which was kind of like the family neighborhood. It's where all the kids come with their families to do Halloween and stuff. And I remember a lot of our friends said, "Oh, where are you moving to now?" And we'd say Cherokee Oaks, and they go, "Oh, you moved to the burbs." They would call it the burbs because it was more of a neighborhood, house next to house next to house. And of course, I had a lot of kids riding bikes and stuff like that. One of the things that was unique about Cherokee Oaks was that the kids on their bikes and stuff would wave at you just like the people did going in and out of the neighborhood. And I remember thinking that's pretty special because you don't see that anymore. So the kids that were raised here in our little small town and stuff were just very friendly, and it was kind of cool to give a wave and see those kids. So we moved into Cherokee Oaks, our first house here. Bill Haxton again found this house for us, and it was kind of an interesting house. It was an adobe-looking house from the front, but from the back it looked a little more modern, and they had painted some trees on the back of the house and made it look really artistic. The only problem with this house is it had a swamp cooler. So a swamp cooler doesn't do much after 95 degrees or whatever, and most of you know that if you've ever dealt with it. You always want air conditioning, and especially in our neck of the woods, because it's hotter than hell up here. So this house was very unique. You can see it here in this shot. Let me throw it up again. There you go. So if you're coming down from the road, you take those stairs down, or you take the driveway, which is off to the right, and it dips down below the road. So the house was below the road, and that's the front door there in that little alcove. So this had a loft in it. If you can see the roof there with the windows on top, it had a loft. So there was like a wooden ladder, and you could climb that, and it had a huge loft up there. The only thing that wasn't cool about the loft is it did not have like a bathroom, or anything, or a shower or anything. So you had to come down the ladder to use the restroom and stuff all the time. But a unique house in all the same, and very, very cool, at least initially when we first moved in there. So here's the back of the home. I told you they painted some trees on the wall. You can see that there. You can see a small window at the top. That's the loft. That was my music room and guest room for people that wanted to stay. I would sing up there on summer nights and crank that window open. And it was just a great little piece of property down there. We had a lot of fun at this house. We had all 3 dogs at this house. And it was kind of cool just to have our pups and have that big property and stuff like that. Here's another shot of it from the outside. And you can kind of see the kitchen going in there. Little fire pit and our barbecue. But it was a great little house, very different than anything we'd ever lived in before, but beautiful all the same. Here's a shot of it in summertime, and you can kind of see we had our umbrellas up and stuff. And it was a pretty backyard. We thought that was the best thing ever. I think the home that we're leaving in 6 weeks is probably much bigger and better and more beautiful. But this was pretty cool for us at that time. When you walked into this house, you had to step down into the living room. There were like stairs, and you had to step down to the living room. And there was a kitchen back there and a dining room. And then the master bedroom was to your right here of the picture. But very, very cool. And because that loft was in there, it had very high ceilings. So it really was kind of unique. They used driftwood above the kitchen door there, if you can see that. I thought it was super cool. Dalton was not a big fan of this house simply because of the insulation and stuff like that. So, and like I said, all we had was a swamp cooler. And I remember one summer, it was like 109 degrees in that house. And we tried everything they tell you to do for a swamp cooler, get it wet, put a block of ice in there. I mean, we tried all that bullshit and nothing worked. I mean, the bottom line was the house needed AC. So, not so enjoyable in the summer, but in the winter, it was fine. And kind of a unique place, like I said, all its own. So those were our first 3 homes here in Three Rivers: Dineley Drive, our cabin on Mineral King, and then that adobe home down there in Cherokee Oaks, and of course the one that we're going to be leaving now. So the interesting thing about these homes is we met pretty much a lot of people right away when we moved to this town. We went to have dinner at the Riverview, which is the big hub of the town. We have a couple of restaurants now, but it was always the Riverview and the Gateway Lodge, which is a little further up than our restaurant toward the entrance to the park. A little more high end, a lot more fancier. And so we went to the Riverview, and that night we had dinner. A waitress asked Dalton if he wanted a job. He got a job pretty much within 2 days and started cooking the pizzas and stuff at the old Riverview. And so it was kind of cool that everything just kind of fell into place when we came up here on the hill, because we didn't know anybody. We didn't know if we were going to be welcomed or how anything was going to pan out. And everything panned out very quickly. And very quickly, we got to know the entire town. And I even remember having friends from down the hill that came up here, and they would ask people at the Chevron gas station, hey, do you know Chuck and Dalton? And they'd say, yeah, they're over here, blah, 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 or whatever. And I always thought that was kind of cool. There's something about a small town feel that's always appealed to me. I lived in a small town in Georgia when I was there. So I always thought that was pretty cool that we met so many people right away. But long story short, with all these homes, we fell into this thing where our favorite holiday is Halloween. So Dalton, of course, more than anyone, loves Halloween. I mean, he wants to decorate a month and a half in advance. And we would do that most of the time. But we started these Halloween parties, and we didn't realize when we started it, when we said, hey, we told some of our new friends in town, tell everyone in town we're having a Halloween party. They're all welcome to come. Well, we didn't know what that meant. What it meant was the whole damn town came. And that was it. It became a ritual for years with us. We're known for our Halloween parties. Every year we would try and do it up and do it better, and buy more decorations and have more better food and stuff like that. And we always had more people every year. It grew and grew and grew. And everything was better. The costumes, I mean, they really went all out for it. I'm going to see if I can find. So this was at the house in Cherokee Oaks, not the one we're in now, but 2 blocks over, the adobe home. And I think it might have been our first Halloween party there. So here's our friends, some of our friends in this picture. Me and Dalton, of course, Batman and Robin, and the Savoy family. So that's Cheyenne Savoy and her little son Hunter there, her little Joker. One of my best friends here, one of the first girls I met here. Love her. Love her family. They're kind of our adopted family here. We spent many Christmases and Thanksgiving with them. That's her sister Nicole there next to her mom, who's the other Joker. So that's Rose and Nicole. And then, of course, our friend Gabe, who passed away in that picture, which I love that he's in that. But these parties, I mean, they just kept going and going, and they would get better and better. This is a shot of our friend Selena and our friend Taylor Harden, two great friends from day one. And, of course, every year was different and even crazier than the last one. Here's a shot of our friend Nico. He was my DJ for some of these parties because he could really like pop the music and of what was new, what was happening. So I always made Nico do that. Here he is as a ninja down in a Corona. But the parties became, like I said, a staple here in Three Rivers. And it was like every year people were like, hey, are you doing your Halloween party? When's your Halloween party? You know, it got to be such a regular thing. Here's a shot of my best friend, Austin Blackwell. This is my guy. I worked with this guy for 12 or 13 years. Spent every day of my life with him when I was a director of security at the mall down the hill. And he worked with me, and he became kind of an honorary member of Three Rivers from hanging out with me and coming up here so much. That's a great shot of him, taken by our friend Terry Pratt, who's a great photographer. Here's another shot of the same house on Quail, which is in Cherokee Oaks. That's me as Jason. You've got Dustin back there and Cheyenne as a policewoman or whatever. But like I said, every year you didn't know what people were going to do. We got Ashley Cunningham in this shot with her blue wig. She had a very unique costume this year. She came with her boyfriend, and they both had like a clear plastic ice bag on, and then they were holding a little baby, so they were ice baby. I thought that was brilliant. But like I said, every year you never knew what you were going to see, and they just kept getting better and better. So here we are at the same adobe house in the kitchen. I've got our friend Jill Griffin on the left there. That's me in the middle with the sword. Beth Jones. Dalton is Leatherface, and I'm trying to make out who that is in the mask. I apologize for not being able to tell. But we had so many people. And one of the most unique costumes at this particular party I love the most was our friend Trevor Blue and his wife Amber Lee. And they were the Breaking Bad guys. So he was all dressed like the one guy, and she had the hazmat suit. And they had these little tiny baggies like people sell cocaine and stuff with this green stuff in it. And they would hand those out all night because they were the Breaking Bad guys, right? I found like 1,000 of those things all over the front yard, the backyard, the bathroom, everywhere after that party. So that's a pretty brilliant costume idea right there. If you can see behind them, that's our pantry in that house. It was so cool. It was an old schoolhouse door with glass etched, and that's where our pantry was. And I thought that was pretty cool. There were little things like that with that house that made it different and unique. Now here we are at the other house, which is the house we're in now, and we're leaving soon. Here's Dalton on probably the second to the last Halloween party we had, or maybe it's the third, looking pretty gruesome there. So my mother-in-law would come out from Florida. She's very creative. She loved to do costumes and stuff, and you'll see that in a minute. But she did this makeup for him, and it was pretty disturbing. The eyes gouged out, you know, the blood and everything. And like I said, every year, everybody tried to one-up it, you know, more than what we had done before, which is what made it kind of fun. So as an example, here is my mother-in-law. She's the one on the left doing the 13 Ghosts thing. She came out here with that costume on an airplane that she made herself. Some of it was paper mache or whatnot. I don't know how she did it and got it here on an airplane, but she did. And there she is looking sick as hell. And I think that they voted her best costume that year because everybody was tripping out on that one. Next to her in the middle there is Willie Nelson, a.k.a. Jill Griffin, very dear friend, and our dear friend Chris Hange being a hippie over there. And they were just a lot of fun. This was a great party. Here's another one. My best friend, Austin Blackwell, he would do several different versions every year of a Joker. This one I thought was brilliant and unique because he had done so many over the years. He was also a great Beetlejuice, but he did Joker so many times. So these Halloween parties, like I said, became a staple and just got bigger and bigger. Here's a shot of my friend Austin Hills, worked for me at the mall on security for a while. He would come up to the parties. This particular costume cracked me up. Obviously, this is a breathalyzer, and it says blow me. So once in a while, you get those, and you'd be like, oh, my God. But like I said, every year they got better and better. One of the things that made our town so fun was looking forward to our Halloween parties every year. Here's our dear friend Sierra Sweeney and Skylar Romero, her husband, before they were married, actually, Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf. Just really, really great stuff. Great times. Like I said, Halloween's our favorite. We've done it every year now, and everybody is already upset that we're leaving because we're not having one this year. We'll be pulling out of town on October 17th, heading across the United States in our car with our dog to North Carolina. So we're looking at a 39-hour drive, about 8 hours a day, stopping at a hotel, another 8, another hotel. So it's probably going to put us in there at about 5 days. I've made the trip before when I was younger. It's been a long time. We're just going to embrace it as a adventure and document it on Facebook day by day as we go so that everyone can follow our journey. So I just want to pay homage to, there's no way, let me just say this, there's no way I could ever get everyone that we love and have spent time with in our town to be in a picture on this podcast. Some of them I just don't have pictures of, which is really weird because I'm a picture whore, but I just want to pay homage to the ones I could find and try to include as many people as possible. If I forgot someone, oh God, I don't know. I tried. You know, there's plenty of them that aren't in these pictures that we love and we're going to miss dearly. But we have a big circle of friends here, and these are just a few of them here. So this is, of course, at the Riverview Grill and Bar where we work. We've got Callie here on the left, Ashley Cunningham in the middle, and Julia Irving there. At one point or another, everyone in this town had worked at the Riverview. And I used to proudly say, I'm the only person that lives in this town that's never worked at the Riverview. Well, now I can't say that because my friend Lisa hired me when she bought the place. Her and her husband, Dave McDermott, hired me to be a bartender after going to bartending school. Very grateful for that. And I'm still there, and I will have my last day there on October 14th before we leave on the 17th. So a lot of coworkers there, and like I said, almost everyone who lives in this town has worked there at one time or another. This is Ashley again here with me, and you can see how beautiful she is. A very, very bright light, a very cool young lady, very funny. This is our friend Kenya, and I have to tell you, we go way, way back with Kenya. So Kenya was from day one a co-worker with Dalton at the Riverview when it was owned by the people that owned it when we first got here, which was Rex and Dorletta Hildebrand, and she was there. So she has since left and moved back to Minnesota and comes back to town every once in a while. And she will always come in and see us because she's Kenya. And she's an adorable little thing, and we just love her dearly. And I don't know if I'm actually going to get to see you before we leave, but we love you, Kenya. Big heart. Love you, love you, love you. Sweetheart. Here we've got our friend Callie. She still works with me there at the bar right now, which is kind of nice. She left for a little bit and came back. Glad to have her back. Such a sweetheart. We got a bunch of little girlies working there that are sweethearts. She's definitely one of them. Here we go with the Savoy family again. You got Brianna here. That is Rose Savoy, and that's her granddaughter. So she is Nicole's daughter, our second family. And I was lucky enough to bartend her wedding not too long ago, and she had a little baby, and she's married now and doing really, really great. Another day one, I want to introduce you to Sarah Sullivan. So Sarah Sullivan and me and Dalton go way, way back, and I'm talking day one. I remember when he first started at the Riverview, she was working there, and I came in all my security garb, which was very cop looking because we were at the mall. And I walked in and I was asking for Dalton or something, and she walked up to me and she said, "Are you the husband?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Wow, didn't expect that." But she was just very forward, like most of us are up here anyway. And we have just gone through a lot of great times with her and been through a lot of parties and great situations with her. And I just love her, and she's doing really, really great. She's got 2 little kids now, and things change fast over 14 years. And it's one of the reasons that makes it so hard to kind of leave here. They are our family for the last 14 years. So I'm trying to share with you these folks that have carried us through all this time together. So here we're looking at a shot of myself. The guy in the middle is Mr. Kevin Payne. We got Drew over there on the left. These guys from day one, friends of ours, lots of parties, lots of crazy times with each other. Kevin actually worked with me as a security officer at the mall for a little while as well. So like I said, it's all intertwined. Everybody's done everything with everyone, either in town or somewhere else. So those guys definitely get a shout out. I'll show you a little shot right now. These 2 guys right here. So this is Luca in the front in the yellow shirt, and behind him is TJ Irving. So TJ Irving and Luca used to be 2 little guys on bikes in our neighborhood when we moved into Cherokee Oaks. So here's what makes me feel old. I see these kids, and that picture I just showed you was taken a while ago. But obviously they're grown up and they're of drinking age. So it's so weird to think these little guys used to be on their bikes all the time, riding through the neighborhood, and now they're all grown up and they're really doing great things. And I just love these 2 guys. They were best friends growing up, and it's always great to see them. I'm always happy when I see them because they've grown up so much. And even though it makes me feel old, I'm super proud to see who they are today and stuff. So love those guys. There's Selena Swanson right there, good friend of ours. Of course, she was born and raised here as well. Her family, that's her best friend, Roz, did a lot of things with Roz. Over her shoulder, there's Cherry Smith, a longtime local, along with her brother, Timmy Smith, who passed away several years ago. And it was a bad deal for all of us because Timmy was, in my opinion, the mayor of Three Rivers. Crazy, fun, happy guy. Loved him so much with all our hearts. And I think we were all devastated to lose him. But those are the girls right there. Again, these are all day one people, so I want to acknowledge them. Here's another shot of Selena here with Roz in the middle and Cherry there. We got Zach Kimball in the back, Tony Harris behind Selena there. Tony Harris, we go back quite a ways too, the guy with the middle finger up. Great guy, super funny, just a really good man. And you don't meet too many guys like that anymore. So I appreciate him more than he will ever know, that's for sure. So shout out to Tony. Here's my friend Beth Jones. Of course, she's my bartending partner. We've done gigs together, private gigs together. We worked at the Riverview together quite a long time. Now she's splitting her time between the Riverview and our brand new golf course that just opened, tending bar in there and stuff. But we call her Bethers. That's her, Beth Jones. I call her Jamie Lee Curtis because from the day I met her, she, to me, had a huge resemblance to Jamie Lee Curtis. So love her. I have sat on her porch many a night. In fact, if you're watching, Beth, we need to do it soon. I don't have much time. Porch party. Her porch parties are so much fun. We get crazy. One of the most special people in our town, from day one is going to be our friend Michael Hoover. This is me and Mikey Hoover at the old Riverview bar before it was renovated and they moved everything around. That was the old school bar there. There's me and Mikey cheersing each other. And it looks like we're drinking a breakfast shot. And I only say that because I'm looking at the chaser in my hand. But this guy right here, we go way, way back. He has spent the night at our house 1,000 times, been to every party we ever had. He is the most genuine, amazing human being in the world. And I will never, ever forget him, ever, as long as I live. He's just one of the sweetest guys in the world. And one of the best. He was a great server. My parents used to come up and have him as a server, loved him. And he's just one of those guys you say, who doesn't love Mikey Hoover, right? Here we have my best friend, Lisa, one of my best friends there, Nikki McCurry, one of my dear friends that just left the Riverview after 5 years. She is now going to be a substance counselor. We're all happy for her. She did her schooling. She's chasing her dream, moving on to better and bigger things. We're all in green here because obviously it's St. Paddy's Day. Lisa doesn't normally walk around with a big green bow in her hair. So Lisa, yeah, there she is. So she owned the bar after Rex and Dorletta sold it. Her and her husband David bought it, and it has now changed hands again, and someone else is running it. But they still live here, and of course, we're still great friends and all that. I love this shot of the coworkers here. This is looking from inside the bar out to the smoking deck. We've got Jax on the left, May Johnson. We've got Paquito. I call him, no, they call him, what do they call him? Chiquito. He's got a name all his friends call him, but that's Juan. That's Juan, and he's awesome. One of the best servers at our restaurant, always smiling, always happy, very fucking howdy-doody. I love that kid. And that's Dalton taking a hit off his cigarette, and the beautiful Destiny Valero there on the right. And I love this picture. And it's a testament to what we used to do because you'd work all day busting your ass. We're a tourist town. You bust your ass, and everyone gets a free shift drink when you're done. Typically, what would happen is you'd stay because your friends would come in or the others would stay, and you're like, well, let's not leave yet. Let's have another drink, blah, blah, blah. And it was always a great time. And again, these people were our family. They were all our family. And when you work with people every day for a long time like this, you love and hate each other. You go through things with each other. But in the end, there's a solid bond. And that's kind of how we feel about all these people. Now I'm going to show you a shot of my neighbor and also our old boss. This is the Juice. This is him, Ryan Rusi, Chef Ryan. This guy's got smokers. He's got sauces. He's an amazing chef. He was trained professionally. He's about ready to be a part of the opening of a brand new restaurant, Tony's Taverna up here, which is going to feature Greek food and a lot of other foods that he makes. And he's just an amazing guy. And if he hears me singing karaoke outside sitting in his carport, he'll hit me up and be like, hey, can we come over? And then we'll start pulling out his country stuff. But this is a shot of me and him and Dalton on Halloween at his house while the kids were coming around doing trick-or-treat. Him and his wife, LaVon, very dear friends. They got a few boys in that house they're feeding, and he works really hard. So always going to miss the Juice and LaVon. Who we got here? Let's see. Oh, we've got these. So these three ladies right here, I've already shown you. Jill was Willie Nelson in the Halloween pictures. You saw Beth in those as well. And Chris Hangy back there, of course, as the hippie in the Halloween picture. But these three ladies are referred to, thanks to me. I gave them the title after living here for a little bit as the Three Rivers First Wives Club. They're all married, and we know all their kids. They all have great kids, and we have so much fun with these guys, but they are the First Wives Clubs of Three Rivers. These three ladies do everything together. They are crazy hardcore partiers. I can barely keep up with them, I will tell you that. So when you get together with those three, there's no telling what will happen. And that was always the fun part, though. So you definitely invited those three to everything. And they've been to almost every one of my Halloween parties. So, that should tell you something right there. Here's another couple dear friends of ours. This is Hayden McKenzie and, of course, his girlfriend. And Amanda is her name, and that's Dalton in the middle. Great people, super sweet. She works at the Chevron station. If you go in there, you'll always see her in there on the morning shift. Always pleasant, smiling. And Hayden, of course, into anime and a lot of stuff. Him and Dalton were very good friends and still are. Into a lot of the same stuff. Excuse me, I almost swallowed a fly. So these guys, really, really, really sweet people, dear friends, and just more people we're going to miss more than we can imagine and stuff. So in the later years, the bartending at the Riverview, May Johnson's boyfriend got kind of integrated into the staff, brought in to be a bartender there. I didn't know him at all. We ended up being really good friends. Cracks me up. This particular picture, I'm going to share it with you. I'm sharing because I brought my Batman mask in one night. And at the end of the night, he put it on and he was standing back in the corner of the bar having his shift beer in the Batman mask. And I love this picture. I'm never going to get rid of this picture. He has a really good Robert De Niro face that I'm going to show you in a little bit in some of the other pictures there. In this one here, this is at a Christmas party at the Riverview. That's my best friend, Austin. Like I said, he was kind of an honorary member of Three Rivers. So he was invited to the staff Christmas party and stuff. And he's sitting next to Jeff Kocher, who is known around town as Jonesy. You can't come into Three Rivers and not know who Jonesy is. If you hang out at the Riverview, like I said, it's the hub of the town. And I don't know, it looks like he's wearing a Christmas tree outfit. And I think Austin's got on a Beetlejuice thing. Oh, no, maybe it's Nightmare Before Christmas. But we were playing a game there and stuff. So Jeff Kocher, another guy from day one, never going to forget him. Crazy, crazy times with that guy, He'll wash your windows, though. He has a window washing business, and he does a good job. Hey, he's got a squeegee. You're not going to make a dime without a squeegee. So, yeah, props to him. This is my buddy Chad. This is our buddy Chad, looking sharp here, all shaved up and stuff. Changes his look all the time. I'm pretty sure this was New Year's Eve. That's the only reason I would be in a tuxedo. But there we are. Great shot of us. I actually like this picture a lot. And I'm going to cherish this one. Crazy guy. Always wants to fight. But he wants to fight me. He used to tell me when I first met you, all I want to do is fight you. So to this day, I'll text him randomly out of nowhere and go, I'm ready to fight you. He's hilarious. Love Chad. Dear friends, Randy and Michelle right here. Randy and Michelle own Brewbaker's Brewery in Visalia, California, which is about 30 minutes from our restaurant down the hill. But their beer is served in all of our establishments in Three Rivers. And they've been coming into the Riverview every Tuesday. Randy brings his little Brewbaker's crew in. They sit at the table and we serve them their pictures of their IPA. Michelle typically likes the seltzer. If there's no seltzer, she will do something else. But great people. They lost their home in a fire a couple of years ago, and it's finally being built back right now as we speak and getting closer every day. So super happy for them. Great people. And it's just, what I'm showing you is just this family of ours up here that we're never going to forget. We're never going to forget these people. We've done so much, been around them so much. They know our lives and we know theirs. And that's what makes it special. Here's a shot at the bar again. You got Mikey Hoover and his girlfriend, Julia Irving, there, of course. And then you've got Melissa Saylor and Kevin Saylor. Melissa and Kevin Saylor are the sweetest people in the world. They are day one friends of ours. They got to know us. They were so sweet to us. And nobody has a mustache like Kevin Saylor. You see that in the picture? Nobody. He's been featured on magazines and other things. He is a full, real deal rancher. The man has stories. I could listen to him all night. The both of them, actually. We sit and talk all the time. They are the most fun and most hilarious people you'll ever want to meet, and the kindest people. They are also looking to get out of California, and I suspect that within a few months, they're probably going to find that house they're looking for in the Midwest and blow out of here, just like we are. But man, years and years of memory with those guys. Every party we ever had, they came to. And typically, they would not go to parties. But if Chuck and Dalton were having the party, they would come. And they would always say, we're not going to stay too long. But I'll be damned if most of the time they weren't here till the end of the night. So I always loved that about them. Kevin and Melissa Saylor, great people. And I'm pretty sure we'll see them because they've hit the road many times doing lots of stuff in their life. And I have no doubt that they will roll up our driveway in North Carolina and come visit us. So I'm excited for that. Here's my sweet friend, Meg Johnson. She is the girlfriend to Daniel in the Batman mask, drinking the beer behind the bar. Such a sweet, sweet girl. She is my straight crush, always has been. Such a beautiful girl, so talented. She built her own house with her father. She's just amazing. She paints. Her mother paints, Wendy McCullough, wonderful painter. She did the mural in the bar. Her mother did anyway. And we go way, way back as well. We've spent a lot of time together, and there's nobody sweeter in the world than Meg Johnson. And of course, we're friends with her brother Ryan, who we knew actually before her. So it's kind of ironic that it all kind of melts together. Almost everyone up here is related to someone in some way. So that was kind of interesting. Here we got Chris Edwards working at the Gateway Lodge, which I told you is the other restaurant up the hill toward the park. Chris was our neighbor for 5 years. We've known him 4 years. Hilarious. A great neighbor. We used to feed him soup and things because at the time we were living next door to him. He worked late nights, and Dalton would make soups and things, and we'd say, well, let's leave it on his porch, and when he comes home, he'll have some food. And we enjoyed doing that for him as well, so we love Chris. And I wouldn't doubt if Chris made his way out to North Carolina, too, because he's not afraid to go anywhere. He's an avid hiker who's probably hiked everything around these mountains and this town and probably knows more about it than anybody else. This is our dear friend Lori Ainley. She is our town groomer for dogs. We've known her for years as well. I've been taking our dogs to her for years. Such a sweetheart. So much fun. Crazy, crazy nights with this woman right here. And she has also attended many, many Halloween parties with us. We're moving on now to my good friend John Wayne Harlan. Big John's what we call him. And I used to crack up because his name actually is John Wayne. And the last name's Harden. Or Harlan. But we know his son Chris, his wife Mama D, and we'll show you her in a little bit. But that's Big John right there, and he's a hoot. He has definitely become one of the best friends we've had in this town over the years, him and his wife. And always fun to hang out with and listen to. This is my buddy Nick Collier. He is the garden man. If you want to know how to grow any kind of vegetables or anything like that, you need to talk to Nick. I keep telling him to start a YouTube channel because it's pretty amazing what he's done. He's out in the dirt all day long. He's either weed whacking, landscaping, but when he gets home, behind his little cabin, he has started an amazing garden that I think he should be YouTubing and showing what he's growing out there because he does some amazing stuff. And he's been bugging me to get over there and see the latest of the garden and stuff. But that's Nicky there. We've known that kid since, going way back, probably when we first got here. So love him. Love Nick. Good vegetables. Good vegetables. This young lady right here is Bree Wilbanks. She is a very dear friend. She's sitting inside the bar at the Gateway Lodge. And we have known her for a very long time. Me and her and Lisa McDermott have gotten into lots of trouble together many times. She's a sweetheart, and she's kind of doing different things with her life now, which is good because, you get caught up in things. But there she is, and I don't think I know anyone with a sweeter soul than her. And she also has amazing tattoos. Her father loves to sing like I do. We've sang together before. She got a wonderful family. Just love her to death. And I also could see her rolling up to North Carolina and surprising us. And Bree, I hope that happens because you know damn well it's going to. I told you my friend Daniel with the Batman mask on has a great Robert De Niro face. Well, here it is in this picture. There it is. Oh, what are you guys talking about? Look at him. I love that picture of him because when we used to bartend together, I used to tell him, give me the De Niro face, and that's what I would get. So here he is with me and Dalton, and of course our friend Callie Gillette there, who's also another sweetheart, who I enjoyed every conversation I've ever had with her. She's a flight attendant, been trying to get her on the podcast for a while, but you try and get a flight attendant on your podcast. They're either flying in, flying out, or they have very little time for anything. The other place in town, as I was talking about, the Gateway Lodge, which is above our place, heading into the park up there, is actually owned by Glenn McIntyre and his wife Susan, and that's going to be them on the right. And that's his son Kyle sitting next to him and his girlfriend Caitlin. Love these people. They have always treated us with the utmost respect. Had great anniversary dinners there. They've made them special in their own little way. And I'll just always forever be grateful to Kyle and Glenn and Susan and Caitlin, who I adore. From the day I met Caitlin, I was like, you know what? I dig this girl. And I guess a lot of people don't really know her, but I do. And I just love her. And so I love this crowd right here. And this was actually a night down the hill. We all went and did something different. Here's me and Dalton and Kyle, and that's our friend Shelby there with them. So we love the Gateway crowd. The Gateway Lodge is a great place with a beautiful location over the river, cabins for rent, and some great food and drinks. So if you're ever in the area, headed up to Sequoia National Park, make sure you check out the Riverview Grill and Bar as well as the Gateway Lodge. This is Leah Schwartz, my other sweet, dear friend, my wife in another life. You won't meet anybody more genuine and sweet than this lady right here. And again, it's all part of our family. A lot of these pictures are our bar family. She bartends with me, and it's always a great time when we get to do it. She's kind of between so many jobs now because she also runs our credit union here in town, and then she works at the Mexican restaurant, and then she works at the Riverview, and trying to feed her kids and take care of her little family and her mom. But you just won't meet a nicer person than Leah. So she's definitely going to be someone that I'm going to need to talk to pretty often. We're going to miss her a lot. She was just here the other night. We had a whole mouse thing, and I can't go into the story because I don't have that much time on the podcast, but it was pretty hilarious. In fact, the more I think about it, the more it cracks me up. But anyway, another time. I still have time for podcasts before we leave. Here we're looking at Mama D. That's Big John, John Wayne Harlan. You were looking at another picture with me. That's his wife, D. That's Mama D right there. And as you can see, this kind of describes them completely as a couple right here. So she wanted to get married, and I'm ordained, so we had a little thing in our backyard and then took the reception to another location, but she wanted me to do it, so I did it for her, and she's just like the sweetest, funnest person in the world. This couple here, we have laughed our asses off so many times hanging out with these guys. And sometimes we get bored at our house. We'll just drive up to their trailer and hang out with them and have a couple of cocktails and stuff, because it's never a dull moment with Mama D and Big John. This beautiful, beautiful girl right here is Destiny Valero. I showed you her in another picture. She is one of our servers at the Riverview. She is a dear friend. She is almost married to our friend Taylor Harden, who you saw in the Halloween pictures. Super, super sweet guy. And she is the most amazing, sweet, happy, beautiful girl you'll ever want to meet. I mean, this girl is never in a bad mood. I used to tell her, aren't you ever in a bad mood? You're always coming into work smiling and shit, and half of us are hungover and tired and over all the bullshit. But she never is. This is what you get. And she's an amazing server and one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen. I absolutely adore her, and that will never change. This was just another sweet picture of our friend Kevin Saylor and his wife Melissa, which is unusual that they're sitting outside. Typically they would be at the bar. But I remember this day, and Kevin didn't even have on his cowboy hat. But look at that mustache. Remember what I told you? You can't find another cowboy with a mustache like that. That's the real deal. Love these people so much. Again, memories, lots of memories with these people. So hard to leave after 14 years. You know, we're getting ready to do it, and it's starting to hit us a little bit. I think we're going to have a little come and say goodbye to us party, and we'll probably just do it in the backyard and make it a potluck and bring some, chairs from the backyard and have everybody come and say goodbye and all that stuff. It's going to be super, super hard, though. And I really do hope that a lot of these folks make their way out to us, because we've definitely got the room for you, and we would love to share our new environment with you guys as well. Here's another great picture of Meg, our friend Meg here, and of course Dalton, and we've got Juanito. Juanito, there he is. Paquito, Tapatio. No, just kidding. Again, another smiley face, Juan, just like Destiny, always smiling and always happy. So I had shown you a picture of the old owner of the Riverview, one of my best friends, Lisa McDermott. And this is another shot of us here. Very spiritual woman, very involved in her church, beautiful singer. When we met, we clicked right away because she sang and I sang. So every karaoke night, we would do duets and sing. And it was just, with her, it was just something that, boom, immediately melded together perfectly. I don't think I've had better harmony with any other female singer than I have Lisa. And not only that, my heart is connected to hers in a big, big way. And probably the one person I will miss more than anyone in the whole world, but I know that we'll talk. She's busy, but I'll track her down. And I'm pretty confident we'll get to see her out there. So love you, Lisa. Here's another shot of Mama D at the bar here. That's Mark Anselmi behind her. Mark runs a couple VRBs or vacation rentals here in town. And he's a staple at the bar as well. I always tell him the bar is his second office. He does a lot of work from there. But again, in our small town, there's always a place that's the hub. And our place is the hub. And so there they are. And I believe that was on Dee's birthday. She also does work for Mark, cleaning the vacation rentals. Here we have Krista. Krista's such a sweet lady. She's one of our servers at the Riverview as well. We have known her since day one as well. Love her so much. Great personality. Sweet lady. I just adore her. You cannot meet her and not fall in love with her immediately. Just got a really, really positive vibe and just a sweetheart. Gonna miss Krista. Here's our good friends, John and Lori Rose. They live up near the Gateway, not very far from the lodge, as a matter of fact. But they also patronize the Riverview and the Gateway. John and Lori, sweet people, perfect couple, look like $1 million all the time. They couldn't have been kinder to us from day one. And they're just really, really great people. And when you talk about small towns and couples, and you might look at people and think, well, we'll never be friends with them. They don't look like people that would even have anything to do with us. That was not the case with these two. We just love them so much and couldn't have been happier to call them friends. I'd like to show you Marvell. This is Marvell, our friend Marvell. Here's me and Dalton with Marvell. She was a bartender at the Riverview with us for quite a while. Just a hoot and a holler. Love her to death. Free spirit, doing her own thing. She finally left the bartending gig at the Riverview here and moved a couple hours away. And she's doing fantastic. And she's doing what she wants. And I happen to know for a fact that she will be coming to North Carolina to see us. And we will welcome her with open arms. We love Marvell. Love me some Marvell. This picture is great. You've got our friend Leah Schwartz there and me leaning on her. But the guy in front of me is our friend Chris Landstrom. And again, going back years with this guy. What a big teddy bear. What a fun guy to party with. What a fun guy to serve as a bartender, at least some nights. I'm just kidding, Chris. You know I love you. And so, this is another example of family. You know, it's just, we're all so tight. You spend so much time together that you just have a bond of love. And that's really all I have for all of these people. And like I said, not everyone is in these pictures, but I wanted to do a podcast to pay homage to this town, to how safe and comfortable we felt and loved we felt here, and how much we love all of you right back. And that's why I did it. This picture here, a couple of little girlies that work at our bar. All these young girls are amazing young individuals. This is Jax right there with the black Riverview shirt on, and beautiful Brookie there on the right. I don't have a picture of Faith. I don't know why. I looked for it, but all these girls are super, super special. And it's just something to go to work every day knowing you're going to see them. Like little Brookie will always be like, Chucky, and I'll always be like, Brookie, you know. So it's pretty cool. So where are we going in 6 weeks and whatever, counting? Out to North Carolina. Moving out there. We're going to be awfully close to, we'll be pretty close to the beach. So the area that we're going to be in specifically is Bladen County. It's a little town called White Oak. And it is nestled in and around Charlotte, Raleigh, Elizabethtown, and Fayetteville. And we are going to be on 43 acres out in the woods. And here's a shot of where we're going. I mean, just look at the beauty. So as I told you, I've lived in the South, so I know what the South is like. I know it's pretty. I know all that stuff. But this is pretty amazing. And the house does not, or the picture doesn't do the house justice here. There's actually a big old deck off to the left there, and there's another little deck that you walk up and you can go in from that side because there's a carport and a camper and everything out there. But that home is a lot longer than it looks. It's a 3-bedroom. It's beautiful inside. I love the floors. Just super excited to get out there within that 43 acres. When you turn into the driveway off of the highway, it takes a good damn minute or two, actually longer than a minute or two, to drive and drive and drive and drive and drive until finally you come to the house back there. That's the kind of living I'm talking about. The world's too noisy. California's crazy expensive. Gas, groceries. Just looking forward to starting a new chapter in someplace new where we can enjoy our life and have a little bit of peace and quiet, and then turn it up when our friends come to see us. So Three Rivers, please come see us. Get on a plane. If you want to do the drive, you don't want to do the road trip. Shit, half of you guys all have rigs with your quads in them and your toys and stuff. Bring that shit out to North Carolina. We got 43 acres. You can park it around the house. We'll have a campfire. But anyway, just wanted to say we love you, Three Rivers. We are super, super sad about leaving, but it's something we got to do. It's the next chapter. We've been here 14 years. Love every single one of you. Thank you for being our friends. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for putting up with me at the bar when I'm a crabby old man. And you guys know what I'm talking about. But I still loved you, even when I was being like that. So it's just been a joy. It's been a great 14 years. We love you guys, and we thank you. I'm Chuck Oliveris. We'll be back in 2 weeks on We Need to Talk About This.